think so.
I am preparing my glasses to be used in the future.
All right. Here, Mom. Take this.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. Tell us when
You're good. I'm just waiting for joiners.
Oh, we're starting. We're starting. Okay, I gotta share this into the.
You're good.
Into the group.
You're sharing it.
Is it say hello to everybody, Mom?
Hello, everyone.
Tell them what we're doing today.
We're going to show you how to measure for our new RhapsoTee pattern drafting guide.
Yes.
That you will make the t-shirt that you love the most.
Yay. Okay, so I've got that shared into the Self-Sewn Wardrobe Facebook group, okay? So that is important if you're watching.
Do you have to keep touching it?
No, I don't have to. I don't think so.
We'll find out.
I don't have to keep touching it. So,
how will it know we're using it?
If you're in the Self-Sewn Wardrobe and you want to leave a comment or ask us a question, if you're watching from the group, you got to click through to the original video, okay? So that's the important part.
Oh, okay.
But if you're watching from ZV Sewing Studio page, then welcome.
Hello.
And like Mom said, we're going to talk to you today. This is the first of 3 live videos that we're doing this week, so it's September 25th.
So we're doing Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, straight through?
Yeah. I know, I just told her about that this morning. I was like, by the way, so...
Now we just need my work schedule 10 minutes before I have to show up.
That's right. That's what it's like to just be so talented.
Well, it is nice, though.
In demand.
When you're working from where you live, you can kind of do that.
Kind of, yes.
Yeah.
And then it's surprising how much other stuff gets in the way.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to talk about measuring today. Measuring for our pattern is maybe a little different, or, you know, just...
maybe just something you're not used to.
Yes, and we...
I don't think it's different. Like
this isn't a special measuring tape that has different numbers.
I think here's what's going on.
Uh-huh.
Like the big 4, or how many have we decided there are now? Because people call them
there's
the
kind
big
of the big
something
one
everything now. Right.
Yeah.
They're all. And did you hear that Michael Kors bought Versace?
Yes, and did you know that
he had already had Jimmy Choo.
Kimmy Schmidt.
Kimmy Schmidt. He's going to get Kimmy. Anyway, supposedly there are people quite upset about it, but, you know, who knows. If you've ever seen a Versace garment, though, oh my God, the way they're built, they are amazing.
I wear
like
them every
a real
day.
one.
Yeah.
You know, a real one. Like the whole, like their evening gowns, the reason people look good in them is the way they're built.
Okay, well, let's talk about this measuring process.
Just like our t-shirt.
Just like our t-shirt. This is basically what Versace does when they make a t-shirt, okay? We're going to tell you how to measure, and then we're going to talk about concepts of this pattern and how we've arranged it, and how other t-shirt patterns can be drafted, and why you may have had some trouble in the past. Now, we're not making a promise that, you know, you're going to draft this t-shirt, it might just be absolutely perfect on the first try. Although
mine was. Well, and to go back to the big 4 that's now the big 1 or whatever, you know, we all learned, or most of us learned at some time, to take like these 4 or 5 or 6 standard measurements, which was bust, hip, waist,
bust, waist, hip,
you know, back, waist, length, and that was like it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, and there's a lot more to be considered.
We're going to get a little more subtle on you, a little more specific.
You can measure those measurements on somebody, and they could be the same on 2 people, but they're in different places. They're 6 inches lower, higher, or something, whatever.
A lot of the times, in a lot of patterns, you only see circumference measurements, which we'll get to. Okay, so let's talk about, this is the most important measurement. This measurement that we're going to take right now is called the back width measurement, back width. And on the pattern, it's measurement A. So if you've printed your pattern out already, you can see that that measurement comes first. And what this measurement does is, on the pattern, your back width actually defines sort of the top, I don't know, quarter, third of your t-shirt.
The fitting of the top of the shirt. This part.
It's going to encompass, here, just stand facing Sam there. It's going to encompass the width of your shoulder seam. It's going to encompass where that arm side is. Okay, so it's basically going to define, you know, this top area of the shirt. So let me show you how we take this measurement. I've seen a couple of people, and I've seen their back width measurements, and I think they were taking them in a different way than we recommend. Back width can be confusing. Here, great.
Yep,
I'm going to use you.
I thought I was measuring you. Why don't you just measure me?
Well, I just want to show. What did you draw? Oh, okay.
I'm okay.
Back width.
That was the set out of my ring.
Okay. Boom. I dropped my computer last night. I should have said that.
Oh.
Okay, the back width. Where is back width? People kind of know what shoulder width is. People kind of know what back width is, but do you come all the way around to the side seam? What do you do? Where is that? And a lot of people are wearing t-shirts where the sleeve maybe starts out here or it's way pulled in, and so...
Well, don't go by someone's garment and the seams. It might not be fitted correctly.
So,
you need to go by the body parts.
Recommend you use a little help, and it is nice to have a buddy for this, okay, I will say.
Always.
I have done this by myself.
I thought about this. The other thing you could do is, like, you could slather ink on your back, and you could go up against, like, a mirror and stamp yourself.
It's a great idea. It's a really good idea, Mom.
I like that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I thought it was a good idea.
All right.
Well, you wouldn't even have to do your own back. You just have to put it in the points.
So I've put some acrylic rulers tight up under my arms. Okay, you could use a book.
A book.
What else do we have here?
We thought about this, just using the tops to, like, any sort of plastic thing. This is a top to, like, a plastic shoebox.
This is a empty fabric fold.
I think these would be great.
I bet that made a ton of noise.
These are sometimes hard to kind of hold on to.
Yeah, they are hard to hold on to, but I do like how slim they are, because what we want is we just want the width between those.
Or do it like 2 thin books, like children's book or magazine, maybe, something like that.
So it's right up under my armpit.
So I'm just going from here to here, and she is like 12 and a half. Was that what we measured you before?
I think I got a little bigger before, but anyway, that is how you want to measure your back width. So face the camera. So you are going to put something under your arms and get that, and that's what we want in a t-shirt.
So it stops. It does, what Mallory's really trying to get to is you're not going around the body at all. Mm-hmm. So you're not doing this. You're not coming up under the arm. It's the flat plane of the back.
Okay, and our back width measurements on our drafting guide, they range from this 12 inches up to 18.5 inches, okay? So 18.5 would be someone whose back is this wide, okay? We're going to talk a little bit.
And it's not their shoulders.
Nope, not their shoulders.
It's this part of your back.
It's the back. So if you do have a wider back than that or something, you know, when we explain how this is drafted, you might be able to grade this up. But this is a 0 ease drafting point on our pattern. We just want the t-shirt, sorry, I keep having you turn around. We just want the t-shirt to lay nice and flat across your back right here. We don't want it to have to stretch too much. We don't want it to be too tight. We want it to land.
Want folds.
Yep, we want it to land right there.
So, you know, the one thing we didn't address is t-shirt, and what does it mean?
No, we're not talking about that yet. We're measuring first.
We're measuring first?
We're measuring first, remember?
Well, that's involved with it.
I know.
All right.
I guess I was trying to make this like
she has changed it.
I was trying to make
4 to 5 times.
Tangent free, which is just
okay.
Is that funny? Like, is that just
we
unlaughable?
Are the tangent two. We are the tangent twins. Boy, that's our trademark. Tangent trademark.
Tangent trademark. Okay.
Yes.
The next measurement we're going to take here is your waist measurement.
So do the teapot. Here is my handle. Here's my spout. Tip me over, and my waist is right here. And you can, you know, if you're really not sure that you can keep track of this, you need to have a piece of elastic that you can put around your waist and know where that is.
Yeah, that can be really nice, okay?
The other thing you can do is like mark on your clothing, because you should be, you should be in undergarments or really tight-fitting clothing with undergarments.
Okay, we've also...
But you could always mark here with a piece of chalk, too.
We've also talked about in the past, that's a really good point, like what are you wearing, right? In the past with underwear patterns or legging patterns or something, these are garments that can be pretty tight, like borderline compressive, right? Where undergarments, like, you know, underwear.
And negative ease, probably.
Negative ease. Actually, in our t-shirt pattern, so this is a question that's come up, the waist actually has some positive ease in it, okay? So this is actually the RhapsoTee. I'd like this to be longer in the future, and actually I lengthened the final pattern. But look.
Right, and one reason we did this is we don't like the sausage look, which would be this.
And everyone and anyone can get the sausage look, no matter your size. Just have a tight enough t-shirt on. This isn't a rash guard.
No.
Okay, this isn't like a workout
This
compression
is not
garment.
a compression garment, a workout garment, or
this is supposed to be something that you could put on and, like, you know, go out and feel, what do I want to say? Like,
actually, this should be something,
too
depending
tight.
on the fabric, you could put under a dress suit if
Yes,
you wanted to.
It's supposed to be a
This is a nicely shaped garment that looks like you are comfortable. It does show off your shape a little bit. And one reason it shows off the shape is we have it fitted up here. And then there's some ease after the bust.
So what
and that's generally the most complimentary to most people.
What that does is it gives you what we want this to have for you is a skimming effect. Okay,
Right.
We don't want it to be too tight. We just
So
want
you
it
know,
to
like
skim.
that back fat. If this was tight, you'd see my back fat. But if it's just
Show them your back fat.
if it's just I just did. So if it's loose, it appears I don't really have back fat.
Everyone's going to be different too. Everyone carries, you know, their
Right.
fat and their muscle in different places in their body. And so the next measurement you're going to take is your hip measurement, or I'd like to call it like your hem measurement.
Right. Well, not even your hem. It's going to be your greatest circumference too.
Well, I want to kind of clarify that, because I see people, like I said, everybody carries their tissue differently.
Yes.
And some people's hips, their hip, where their largest circumference is, like around their crotch
Right.
area, it'll be real low down here. And so if I were wider at this level, I wouldn't want that up here. So
Right.
I look at your body, everybody. Look at it. You know, wear something tight to measure yourself. Because I'll tell you a little bit about my body. My hip around here, okay, I think it's like 42, 45, something like, I can't remember.
No, I don't think it's that big, but anyway.
Well, here.
Oh, measure.
Why don't I measure?
Maybe it is.
Yeah, it's like 43, 40, 42. Okay.
Oh, 42 makes sense. Yeah.
Hold on. Yeah, 42, 41 and a half, whatever. Okay, but I also have a belly.
You are measuring your belly when you measure your hip.
Well, no.
But some people are.
Well, some people are,
Right.
but I'm not. Okay,
Well, you are measuring your belly. It's just that yours happens to be flat in that spot.
Yes.
So, because what I'm saying is, you aren't just measuring this. You're measuring this too.
Okay, but what I'm saying is, I have a belly up here above my hip line, okay? So, yeah, it's flat there. That's great, but I don't want something to be real tight right there. I got this up here, too. So if you're somebody who has, like, a belly or an abdomen, or, like, you're pregnant or you're not pregnant or whatever.
Post-pregnant.
Who cares? You know, well, yeah. And so, you know, measure.
Just look like you're pregnant, but you're not.
Yeah, whatever. Look at the camera. You're, like, stand off to the side. You know, measure that part of your body. That's why also on our pattern we have this high shoulder point to hemline marked here. What that is, stand here, uncross your arms. What that is a line that goes from right here, like right where your neck meets your shoulder, down.
And it goes over the bust line.
Yep, over the bust. So if you are someone who is like, all my t-shirts, they end up being too tight on my belly, like that's me. I'll have a t-shirt that kind of fits all right up here, and then it's riding up on my stomach. It's not the right width at my stomach. I'm not happy in how it looks on me. I will mark. I'll be like, okay, here's the belly. And I'll say, okay, 19 inches there.
Down, right.
And I will mark.
Should go from her shoulder point to 19.
Down to 19 inches, and I will mark that. So we have our hip width down here.
So you're saying you measure at 19 inches.
Yes. So I would mark that. You know, I would want to know where that is. We also include 10%. Mom's just like,
I need my mark.
You need a mark.
I don't have a mark on the floor. I need a mark.
I would mark that 19 inches, and so I could check and make sure that after I draft my pattern
that you're accommodating.
Yeah, because I just, everybody can wear their clothes if they want to, but me personally, I don't want that to be too tight there.
Well, the other thing is so you may have some volume here, but you don't have the volume here, but the volume's here, and then there's none here. It all kind of makes up for itself sometimes.
Do you think that I have a sway back, Mom?
No, I don't.
Right. Okay.
Because everybody has a little bit of a dip.
Let's talk about this.
Yes.
People will talk about this. Okay, first of all, this garment's made out of stretchy fabric, all right? It's not a highly tailored garment. It's not like there's 8 panels to it. sway back adjustment, I don't think is the proper word to use when someone sees that like their t-shirt's riding up like this.
Sometimes if you have this, it's on the butt shelf is what I call it. So it looks like this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because it's hung up down here. So you need to straighten this out and see what's going on. If I have to really pull this over and then she lifts up again and it stays here. It's on her. It's hanging on the butt shelf.
You don't have a sway back. You just need more volume in the hips.
And everyone who, I mean, the most normal or considered the normal typical is there's an S curve to your spine.
Everyone.
It's not straight.
Right. An S curve is healthy. So So
now everybody's isn't perfectly the same, but that's how we stand up.
Yes, absolutely.
That's how our spine holds us up, is in an S.
So I mean, there are people who have, a different shape than I do, but I have a little volume out here in the front, belly volume, and then I do have I don't have, as big of a butt as some people do, but then I got the butt back here, so I'm going to accommodate for all of this, and then I get the skim, and then I just wouldn't call that a sway back adjustment. I would just say it's too small.
I wouldn't either.
I just say it's too small.
Yeah, I would. It's not, and I see people struggling with that, and then they get to a point that they don't even know what they've done anymore.
Okay, so we've talked about back width, and we've talked about waist, and we've talked about hip, and I think something that I skipped over earlier. I took my waist measurement and I didn't squish down my tissue. Right. So we're once again talking about, if you're like a rock hard person, and some people are like rock hard.
If you're rock hard, you don't have to squish.
Well, you can't squish, right? So if you have a very hard body here, but you're soft here, I would recommend just gently measuring. Sometimes when I want to get a good tight fit on something, I will kind of squish. My
technique when I used to costume dance troops. And they weren't particularly wearing dance clothes. They were wearing things that almost looked like a cocktail dresser. I would put 2 fingers under. So that I made sure, because the worst thing was if we wound up with not enough fabric.
Mm-hmm. Right. So I just would, for our pattern, that's what we want you to do. We want you to measure how you're comfortable. Different patterns might have different recommendations.
Yes.
Okay, bust. Now, if you are a person who has breasts, we actually have a really special thing for you that we're going to show you tomorrow.
Most people have breasts. It just depends on if they're voluminous or not.
Sure. So our patterns, we've been finding, there's no reason that these can't be gender neutral.
Right.
There's no...
Oh, no, absolutely.
There's not really anything about this. So even though this shape of this pattern looks sort of traditionally curvy, what one might traditionally think of the female figure. I mean, my figure doesn't look like that.
Actually, my husband looks like this.
Yeah, there you go. So, but you're going to be measuring yourself, so you're going to get a shape that's different from this, possibly. But wear the undergarments that you would like to be wearing under your t-shirt in order to especially measure your chest. Because chests, breasts, whatever, they're weird. They're squishy, okay, right?
Yes, but they're there.
They are there.
You have to accommodate.
So if you're going to wear an undergarment like a binder, okay, wear that to measure yourself. I am wearing my most, what's the word? It gives me the nicest, roundest shape breast that I like.
Well, or I like to make sure they're right, in the right position, here and not here.
So wherever you want your boobs. Okay, so so if you're gonna wear a sports bra, my chest would look very different in a sports bra. Okay, because I don't have a lot of bust volume.
And whether you believe it or not, everyone's chest looks different in a sports bra.
Well, that's true too. So measure your bust, because you said earlier you were like, this could go under a dress suit.
That's
Maybe you're going to wear a different undergarment.
This can become a dress, a t-shirt dress.
Well, there's that too. Maybe you're going to wear a different undergarment under your suit than you would to go to the gym. Okay, so wear the garment that you wish. Wear the undergarment that you're going to wear. And I told you guys, I have kind of this straight shape. I have a little bit of this belly, and I personally just love it when my boobs can give me a little bit more shape in my garments. You have inherent, breast volume, that I don't have. So,
you're twisted.
Am I twisted?
Twisted.
No, I'm twisted. We know how to, we promise we've done this before.
A couple times.
Okay, so, Mom is Is this right?
Nope, that is not right.
What?
Let's make this parallel to the floor and going across the apex, and I can't see your boobs.
Okay, apex, you know.
Apex, nipples, Grand Tetons, I don't know.
It's the mountaintops, so if you look down, it's the mountaintops. This is for someone who is trying to accommodate, like, you know, projecting breast tissue. Maybe your nipple actually isn't there, okay? But, you know, depending on you and your nipples. Okay?
The way I do it is I put my nipple there in my bra.
Well, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The headlights are straightforward.
If you are a person who doesn't have, like, projecting chest volume, do try and find the largest area, the largest. So you're gonna have a little bit of a range, like, between here and here. Find that largest area.
These are called the floppy disk.
I thought these were your floppy disks.
No.
No? Oh, these are? Okay.
Yeah.
Side boob. Okay. So, like, my husband, you know, is a dude, and he does, like, you know, have, like, a little bit of chest volume, right? He's not, like, a, you know,
he's not svelte.
He doesn't have, like, a washboard abs, like your husband, okay? So, I would measure him, and I would not compress that a whole bunch. He probably doesn't want it, like, super tight. He probably doesn't want to show him off. Yeah, right, exactly. Okay, so there's that. But that's how you would measure your bust. This bust measurement, tomorrow when we draft the pattern for you, when we show you how to use it, it comes last.
Well, and what you said is, there's a negative ease at the bust.
Yeah, did I say that? Did I say what that was?
I think you did say that earlier. I don't know what you said.
Okay, well, let's clarify it now.
Right.
So on this pattern, how we've drafted it, there is 10% negative ease at the bust. So you're going to be working with fabrics that should have about 50% or more stretch. So 10% negative ease using like a t-shirt pattern, like a fabric like this that I would use for a t-shirt, all it does is give you kind of a nice...
Yeah, it does. It defines the top of the garment, is what it does.
I would say it would make you, like, not baggy.
What people complain about in their t-shirts is... generally, they're not fitting around their arm and under their arm. There's like bagginess.
What do you think? This area, like if I were to draw a square around on here, is the big problem area.
And that's what makes people look funny. And a lot of times when you purchase a t-shirt or ready to wear, you know, you're accommodating maybe a hip measurement that they have graded, you know, they're ready to wear it to be too huge up here for you.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about how t-shirt patterns are normally drafted as well later in this broadcast. Okay, so then, so bust gives you a little bit of snug fit here, but then you have skimming at waist and hips. So I think that's great. Also, if you are somebody, there are people who like to wear their clothes tighter, then, draft it like this first. And then you can zip up the side seams a bit if you want to, okay?
And like we said, you know, my first draft, absolutely perfect. I was thrilled with what I got. I liked the look I got. Now, I may want another t-shirt that's baggier than that or has a flared hem or what. I'll add that later.
A sweatshirt.
But I'll know that this is my basic sloper tee. So the first time you draft something, you don't always get exactly what you want. I did. I think a lot of people will. And I think a lot of people know, ooh, I just drafted my shape, and I can go a lot of places from there.
Right. So, I was thinking about sweatshirts. I really want to make like a fun, there's all that fun French terry out there now. Yeah. That's all cool prints and everything. And I'm like, okay, well, this is my RhapsoTee shirt, and I just really love how this is fitting. The only thing I would change about this here, I want it to be a little bit longer.
Right.
I love the sleeves at this length. Make your sleeves whatever length you want. Let's just talk real quick about the one last measurement, or two measurements here. You're going to measure your bicep. When I say bicep, I mean you need to find
the biggest part,
the largest part of your upper arm. This is going to be different for everybody, okay?
Well, and I would tell them to flex just a little bit. You don't need to do like this, but you do need to flex a little bit because your arm gets larger as you flex.
So she's got her arm bent. If you've ever been measured for anything, they might have you like do this to measure your arm. That's bending your arm, right? So when you do measure, play around.
I don't have a very big arm.
Move the measuring tape around a little bit, okay, to find that largest measurement. We just want to accommodate, okay? Now,
that's going to be smaller,
on this t-shirt, excuse me, there is some negative ease at the bicep. it's that 10% again. And
because you wanted to fit it.
Yeah, because, you know, we want this fitted. So if you are going to make yourself like a sweatshirt or something like that, that might be different. The top of the sleeve is shaded here. Can we see that, Sam, that's shaded? That's defined by that back width measurement so that the sleeve cap can fit in to, right? Does that everybody, you know that those two things go together? This is the arm side.
That shaded area will fit in the shaded
That's
area.
right. Okay, so that's going to go together. So those are the same. You get bicep. And then at wrist, Sam and I were having a good time at this. I don't know. I was like, oh, sure, there will be negative ease at the wrist. And I thought, you know what? That would be like a rash guard. If it were to
I
go
was going to say, I wouldn't want negative ease because I would want to be able to shove.
Yeah, so we actually put some positive ease down there. Now, once again, this is a part of the t-shirt where you can customize.
Right. And this is where I might stick my fingers underneath there when I measured.
Now, we gave you positive ease, though, in the pattern, so you might not want to.
Right.
Actually, yeah. So you have this 6.5-inch wrist. You have the smallest wrist there. Okay, so what this actually is going to give you is like 9 inches. So let me show you. Not 9 inches. 8 inches.
I was going to say.
Excuse me. That'd be 50%. So you're going to get like this on your wrist.
Because nobody wants that so tight that it's confining. Or when you go to wash your hands, you want to be able to push them up at least this much.
So then,
and you want to be. A lot of times your hand is larger here than your wrist.
Yeah,
if we measured like this. See, I'm like 8 there. Now you can do this kind of thing and everything.
Right. So we just defined that there. But if you do have like a larger wrist or something, when I say larger, I mean larger in proportion to maybe the rest of your body for whatever reason, that is accounted for here. So you do have a little bit of wiggle room there. So those are the measurements. That's how to measure. Right. You're going to measure back width. You're going to use those rulers. If you didn't see that in the beginning of the video, please go back and look. You're going to measure at waist, hips. You're going to take into account if you have a belly, okay, or an abdomen or whatever, okay, and you're going to measure that. And you're going to mark the level of that abdomen along this line when we get to draft it tomorrow, okay?
So are you going to give them any hints or anything about what to do with a bust that happens to usually be, you know, too large for...
A bust?
Uh-huh.
Okay, because I was just talking about the belly. I was confused. Yeah. Sorry. So the bust, okay, I am just going to give them a hint, okay?
Yeah.
ZD...
But this is the secret. I mean, this is the secret ingredient.
This is the thing. I'm sure other people, you know, do this and stuff. But if you are a person, let's talk about our busts here real quick. We both have the same measurement in our bust.
No, you're a little bit bigger.
Right? Am I? Okay. Very similar, except I wear like a B cup and you wear like a D or
an
F.
Yeah.
Okay. F. Surprise.
For fun.
Z wears the F cup.
I'm a fun size.
There you go. So what that means...
I have on a 32F.
Okay, so what that means here is that my chest does not project as much from my body as ZD's does. So this chest projection is what can also cause a lot of issues in t-shirt fitting. So if you get something that fits in the shoulders, it will be way too tight on your projected chest.
Right.
Or you measure your bust, you choose the size of your pattern based on your bust, and then you are left with huge shoulders, perhaps, for your body.
And I remember in, like, school that the home ec teacher that said, well, you go by the measurement, you know, that's the largest, supposedly.
Yeah, right.
And it was always my bust, and I was this little person, and I would be, like, in a size 14 or 16 pattern.
Sure.
You know, and really the rest of my body was like an 8 or 6.
So that's not going to fit you elsewhere.
There was just so much trouble.
It's going to change all sorts of other stuff. So we actually draft a lot of this pattern. We don't incorporate the bust quite at first.
Till later.
And then we show you how to accommodate for that. And that was what was... Okay, so ZD has been drafting t-shirt patterns for herself forever. But the translation of these concepts into this was the difficult thing. And I had to be able to... I had to say, Mom, we got to tell people when to put, you know, this special thing in. Okay, so we did come up with the formula, and we did it for her, and it worked on her chest.
Immediately, yeah.
It gave her the correct... with
so
the
it
shoulder.
Gave me volume for my projection.
And it gave her volume for the projection.
And I still fit in my back.
And
now, I always did this.
The seam was balanced.
This always happened when I drafted my own t-shirts, but I didn't have a template like this to go from. I did take a multitude of measurements and, width and height and circumference and all this and plot.
So
I don't have to plot now. I can go here.
Yeah, so since Zeddy and I can't come to everybody's house and do this with them, right?
Nor do we want to, but I'll come to your house, but I don't want to sew for you. I want you to cook for me or something.
Will you hold this?
Okay.
Okay, so t-shirts. We talk about the origin of t-shirts and why this is a little different. A t-shirt was really an undergarment, right?
Yes.
To begin with, a men's undergarment, traditionally, something that would go under, it's this page with the Post-it.
I looked at the wrong Post-it.
Sorry. I could have labeled it for you. So, traditionally when people draft for men's bodies, they think of them as very straight. Of course, this is not always true.
No.
Okay, especially, as people have been liking things more
well,
fitted.
and also, people made t-shirts, before we had a 4-way or 2-way stretch fabric and things like that.
That's right. Yes, fabrics have changed and, in a lot of ways improved. So how a normal t-shirt that you buy in the store is often drafted or, produced or whatever is you have this area and this point here will be defined by the bust measurement. And some of you may be like, wait a minute, that's under your arm. And I'm like, yep, that's right. And it's defined by the bust measurement, okay? And then the pattern will be drafted straight down from there. So if anybody has hips, I'm scaring you.
I thought that was a Sharpie. I was like, you just threw it
No.
Okay.
If anybody has hips that are larger than their bust, this can be an issue. And I want to show you, this is, I maybe show them the front of the book. This is Winifred Aldrich's, her metric pattern cutting for women. And so I use this as a reference. This is the t-shirt pattern, drafting guide here. And it goes straight down from the bust. The waist measurement and the hip measurement are included not at all. Okay, so you can buy this book. It's very expensive actually because it's a textbook. You can get this, and this is kind of my jumping off point for some of our plotting guides like this. But I have to add in a lot of subtlety to give us what we want. So they were normally drafted from the bust down. That makes it straight. Problem for a lot of people, right?
Well, and I guess I want to say, why is it called a t-shirt?
Why is it called a t-shirt?
Because it's in, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, well, here's my sleeve, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a T.
Yep.
Okay.
So if you had your other sleeve, it's a T. So this is not a super tailored garment, like we said before, right?
But we still say t-shirt, and today we don't always mean this shape. We don't always mean the T shape. You'll hear people even refer to fitted t-shirts.
Oh yeah.
Or
boyfriend t-shirt.
Or you'll say, what is it, women's style or women's cut or something
yeah,
like that.
Yeah,
I can't remember exactly what it is.
There will be like a women's t-shirt and a men's t-shirt, and you'd assume that would have like a bit more flair or something like that. But we're giving you a skim t-shirt.
Right.
So your body, how your body is shaped, and then it's going to skim. So we had a customer one time who was taking our perfect t-shirt class where we taught how to, draft a t-shirt from your measurements. So this was drafting from scratch, okay? And she was scandalized, okay? That
she got all upset.
She got a little upset. Okay, this happens sometimes when we're measuring our own bodies.
Especially when you're drafting patterns. Yeah. People don't understand why everybody's pattern doesn't look alike.
They can look really different. And her t-shirt pattern ended up looking like this. It looked very extreme. She was upset. She was like, why does it look like this? And we were like, well, that is what your body looks like.
Right.
She had pretty wide hips compared to her narrow shoulders. Right. It's what my t-shirt pattern would look like if my hips were wider. It is what a person's...
We also had another customer, and I can remember specifically who she was, and her pattern looked like this too. And when she made it, she said it was the best T-shirt she ever had in her life.
She was on a commercial for it.
Yeah, she was on a commercial.
Volunteered. Janet. Okay? Janet freaked out.
And then she went T-shirt crazy. She came in like every day for like 14 days straight with 2 or 3 new T-shirts, wearing one and all this.
She made so many T-shirts, and she was freaking out, so excited.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And this other woman was like a little taken aback, you know. And we talked to her like, well, the T-shirts you're wearing right now, you know, they look like this,
and they look terrible on her because they actually looked like this. They were out here to accommodate this, but they were dried up a little bit. And then
real big at the shoulders.
The shoulder was out here. So you couldn't even see her shape with her.
Well,
you didn't even know what shape she was.
And like, you say like they look terrible. I don't like to say that.
The T-shirt looked terrible.
Someone might like their T-shirt.
The T-shirt looked terrible.
Someone might want their T-shirt to look like that.
Oh, okay.
Whatever,
I guess so.
Okay, so
she didn't.
Well, that's what we thought. And then
she said she didn't.
And then she got upset. It was so funny that this really kind of like rocked her world, you know.
Right.
And so I was anyway, your T-shirt pattern might look a lot different, and this is great because
it might not wind up looking like these lines, like one set of lines, because you're going to go between the lines.
Yeah, mine definitely. Mine
actually goes the other way.
Yeah, and mine doesn't curve in like this and out. It really looks like this.
Yeah.
This is why you don't know what a pattern is going to look like on you, because you don't know what the model looked like naked. Okay. That's what I'm trying to say. So like,
and that was a good thing.
If you look at this T-shirt, like this T-shirt's fitting me, and you think, oh sure, it's a T-shirt. Okay. When you see my pattern laid out flat and so very flared, you're like, oh, I didn't know that would look like that, because it's just hanging down straight on your body.
You're looking at something flat that's going on something that's three-dimensional. So just because it's one shape doesn't mean it's going to look exactly like that when it gets on the body.
That can be the problem with trying to trace your exact crotch curve onto a pair of pants, but that's a different live broadcast, okay? So keep that in mind. So your pattern's going to look different when we draft them tomorrow. It might look different. Someone in the Zigzag group, they laid out a pattern that they bought, like a T-shirt pattern, to see how it looked, and she said, oh, I wonder if this explains why I kind of don't like the way this fits on me, you know, and so I think that's going to be really interesting to see if this helps people. But I was so excited that our bust thing worked on you, because you definitely are a person.
Oh, no.
You have the bust issue.
No, more than that.
7-inch difference?
Yeah, I think I have a 7-inch difference between here and here.
Yeah, well, and under here too.
Well, even more under there. That's like 8 inches or something. 8.5.
Anyway, that's how to measure. This is where a concept is coming from. We're going to walk you through the pattern tomorrow. The time's going to be different, right? It's going to be at 1.
At 1. What did we do today?
Today was 12.
Okay.
Our time.
Whatever it is, it's an hour later than when you tuned in today.
Yes.
Do we have any comments at all?
Any questions?
Actually, Rachel just asked, what is point B under the arm? I don't see it anywhere else.
Good question, Rachel. So we'll cover this tomorrow. I'll just answer it, though. What that is, it's so that in the pattern instructions, I can tell you that when you choose your back width line, that you're going to trace from the center, or the center here, all the way to point B, and you just stay on the same line. So it's not a measurement.
It's a reference point, just a reference not point. Really a measurement.
Yeah, but good question. I'm glad you don't see it anywhere else in the pattern.
Yeah, because it's not here in the measurement.
No, it's not. It's not a reference line. Or it's not a measurement. It is just a reference point. And I tried to shade this as well to make that, be apparent. Any other questions that you can remember? We'll go back and look in the comments.
I think a lot of other viewers were answering, like, is it for knit or woven? And someone answered knit and things like that.
So this is a stretchy T-shirt.
We think 50% minimum.
Yeah. And everyone's going to like.
Now, I think we've, by accident, made only all-way stretch garments, right? No, this has it.
Yeah. I think they should be all-way.
So I'll try and make just...
You'll try to make one-way?
I'll try and make just a cross-strain stretch and see what... I don't know why it wouldn't work. I don't think there's a problem.
I wonder if the sleeve is too fitted.
Oh, that could be a possibility.
Okay, also, this t-shirt looks so awesome when you don't attach the sleeves. It's
it's
the coolest tank top
it's
in
a really
the world.
Good tank.
Okay, I have a I just want to, I won't talk about this tomorrow, but I've got a neckline drafted in there. Y'all, we're going to put whatever neckline you want on it.
When is this available, and can we link to it?
We will link to it. So here's the deal. I don't have the written instructions ready yet, so that's why we're doing these videos. You are all part of my creative process here.
You're part of the beta group.
You're part of the beta testers. So I will put that up as a link. It'll be sohere.com/patterns, and you will get the drafting guide. You will get written instructions, and those are just, and you'll also get construction instructions too.
Right. And we're going to draft this on live.
So we're going to draft this tomorrow.
So there'll be a video of the drafting.
We're going to draft this tomorrow. Also, those of you who've printed this out already, if you print out the big AO version, this little guy can be cut out and used as a pattern label. Like if you, when you trace, you have to trace this.
It folds.
Do not
you
cut
have
this
to
pattern
trace
out.
it. But this folds. This folds so that it works in your
in a little plastic bag, because you'll have these two pattern pieces.
And you have your 4-inch test, which is important.
Okay, and the other thing, if you do the tiled version, there's one of these. I'm about to have a coughing fit, so we're gonna wrap this up.
Okay. I just want to point out, Jamie said she's really pumped for the bus trick.
Jamie,
this is gonna change your life.
This is gonna be life changing for you. I'm
Jamie,
pretty sure.
if you didn't already know this, we talk about you.
We do talk about you a lot,
all the time, and your boobs. Okay?
We're like, will this work for Jamie?
Would this work for Jamie?
Will be excited about this.
Jamie.
And who was the lady that made the post just a couple days ago? There was someone.
Anna Marie.
Yes, Anna Marie.
Or Maria, excuse me, Anna Maria.
You're gonna be like in love with yourself all over again when you see how you can make a t-shirt.
Yeah, no, a lot of you who are in the group and you so generously share the issues that you have with fit. We're like, oh, we know this is a problem, or we know this is something that people come up against. It's very helpful to us. So, and thank you to all of our members. Here's the deal. Sohere.com, ZD Sewing Studio, all that jazz. We have a membership that you can join if you enjoy our podcasts and live broadcasts. You can go to sohere.com/membership.
Sometimes I stay in the frame of the video the whole time, and Mallory doesn't always cough all the time.
And Mom doesn't interrupt my link. Sohere.com/membership. Okay. Finish this up.
So long and so happy.